I made one of my favorite finished objects of the entire year this month. Hello, my name is Mallory Krall from The Cozy Crow, and welcome to my YouTube channel. And today is podcast episode 48, where I'm going to be talking about all the things that I've been working on in the knitting and crochet realm. I don't have a ton of projects to share with you, but I do have a couple of new yarn acquisitions, and I thought it would be fun to also talk about the things that I plan to work on the rest of the month. Because vlogmas is coming and things are going to get really busy for the end of this year. What I'm wearing though, this is the oat sweater by This.Bird.Knits. I don't know what their actual name is, but that is their designer name. And this is in the colorway Bartok from Teeny Button in their worsted weight base. And it's like this really pale, warm, purpley color, but I love it so much. I lengthened it last year. Was that last year? I think I lengthened it last year just because it was a little bit short on my torso, but now it's a perfect fit as far as length goes. If you'll see, the sleeves have this really cool like lace detail that kind of fades up the arm. So that's what really drew me to the sweater. I don't like how high this neck is. It's not like my favorite neck, but I'm really glad that I was able to make the sweater. It is really a comfy sweater, and I'm so happy to be in sweater season now. Without further ado, let's just hop right into our finished objects. I only have actually one finished object, but I really love it. It's like the perfect mix of pattern and yarn together have made an amazing project that I am in love with. This is the Get the Scoops sock pattern by Mallory Krall, stood for Bolu. I don't know if that's how you pronounce it, Bolu. I'll make sure to have the information down below. But this is a really cool pattern that uses two different colors of yarn, or you can do some scraps if you want. And you use these like scoop stitches to kind of almost like mosaic knitting across the stripes, which is so cool. This yarn that I use is really what makes this pattern shine. I used Biscotti Yarn's Bis Sock, which is their self-striping sock base, in the color Carousel. When I first saw this color in a store, I think I bought it in California when I was living there, I just felt like the colors were very Halloween inspired between the purple and the orange, but I don't think the colorway is necessarily Halloween, but the colors for sure speak to me like that. And I thought with a black main color that it would really give off Halloween vibes, and I am so happy about it. I think it looks really good. And I love how the self-striping yarn kind of fades from dark to light back to dark within like the orange family, and then switches to purple, dark to light to dark. I just think that's really interesting, and I haven't really seen any self-striping yarns that do that, and it just makes me so happy. I love how these turned out, and I thought it would be fun to kind of alternate which colors I do, just to kind of play on having two different color schemes. So you'll see that I actually made it so that the orange and the purple were opposite on both socks when I put them side by side. So they're offset just enough. And I didn't do it perfectly, but I did a pretty good job, and I'm really happy with how they turned out. And it just gives more of like a kooky vibe to them. And I think it's a really fun way to play with these colors, especially with the way that this pattern of striping goes, how it alternates between purple and orange. I feel like that really lent itself well to alternating like I did for this. So I'm really happy with how these socks turned out. They're like the perfect Halloween socks, and I really enjoyed having them ready for Halloween this year. This sock pattern just recently came out. I tested it for Jennifer, and I really do enjoy testing her patterns. She's a really good designer to work with, and it's always really fun to be in her testing groups. But this comes in 3 sizes for adults. I just really love how this pattern really shows off the beauty of this yarn. It just makes me so happy. I only had to get one sock done for the test knit, but I really wanted to finish this pair because I was having so much fun knitting them. Just one finished object. So let's move into the works in progress. And I only have a couple here too. So we're moving through this podcast really quick, but I wanted to make sure that I film today so that in my next podcast, I can talk about all the things I made in like late November and throughout December as I finish off the year. First whip that I have, I I had been working on it ferociously for a little while, and then I put it down because I had some test knits and other more time-sensitive projects I had to work on. But now that we're getting closer to Christmas, I am focusing on this sweater. This is the Everett pullover by Fine Fiber Co. I think her name is Jessica. Ta-da! And of course, I started my short rows, so it's kind of hard to hold my yarn to show off this pattern. But ta-da! It's all scrunched up because of these cables. I am doing the back panel right now, and like I said, I just started the short rows for the shoulder shaping, so I'm almost done with that back panel, and then I will pick up my front stitches and do the same thing. I love the cable detail and how it's kind of spread out. It makes me think of like ribbons twisted on packages. And so that's why I envisioned this for a Christmas sweater. And I've had this in mind for a couple of years now. I've had this yarn set aside for a couple of years, and I'm finally making it happen. I'm really excited to see how this goes. For this pattern, I am doing the smallest size, even though I am not the small size, just because of how my gauge was and the amount of positive ease I wanted on my sweater. I did some number crunching and decided that the smallest size number of stitches would yield the size on my body that I wanted, even though typically I'm more of like a medium in a knitting pattern, but each pattern's different. This is not as size inclusive as I wish it was, up to like a 5X. It falls a little bit short. I had purchased this pattern before that was made known to me, and I know that this designer has talked about expanding their sizing, so to be determined if/when that'll happen, but just so you are aware. I did have some issues when I was splitting for the front and the back, and part of that was because I had done a couple rows and then I put it down. And so when I came back like 5 or 6 weeks later to work on this some more, I forgot what I was doing and I had lost track and had some number issues. I haven't had too many issues once I frogged and then went back. My numbers didn't match quite right, but the pattern is written in a way that I could just keep on going and it doesn't make too much of a difference to have my numbers off by like 1 or 2. I'm not too bothered by it. From what I can see, everything should work out okay the way the pattern is written, and I will keep you updated because I hope that by the next podcast that this will be done and I will have worn it for Christmas. That is my goal. Like I said, it's really scrunched up. There's these purl columns in between all of these cable columns, so it'll definitely spread out a lot when I block it. I'm using Swish Worsted? I think this is worsted. Yes, I'm using Swish Worsted in the color Garnet Heather, which is one of my favorites. And so I'm really excited to see this come to life. I've not made a lot of garments recently, and so it's been really fun to work on something. Though putting this down for a while and then coming back was really hard. I do not recommend it, but it is coming along. I should definitely work on the short rows tonight and then maybe pick up my front stitches. I think when I last shared, I was just splitting for the armholes, or I was really, really close to splitting for the armholes, and I was trying to decide whether I would lengthen the torso or not. I can't quite remember, but I have made lots of progress on that back panel since I last showed that on my podcast. The only other whip that I've been actively working on is kind of my easy knitting, and part of the reason that I haven't gotten as much done is because we've been really swamped at work. Like, we've been so busy on the unit, and I have not been working hardly any night shifts, and that's when I do get a good chunk of knitting done. So I just don't have a lot that I was able to work on this month, and that's just the way it is sometimes. But I have been putting some time into the Alaska hat by Camille Descotol, I think is her name. And it's really hard to see because this is in a black color. This is the Void from Kimber's Cozy Creations. And I'm supposed to do like 30 something rounds in this, and I have, I don't know, just eyeballing it, I've got maybe 12 rounds, so I've got a ways to go. I don't know if it's like a fold up brim or what, but I definitely need to, no matter what I do, at least double this at a minimum, if not more, just to make it look nice and actually do its job of covering my ears. Like I said, that's the Void. And for this hat, I'm doing black for the brim and then the tree shadows. And then behind, that's supposed to be like the sky, I'm going to do Aurora Borealis, also by Kimber's Cozy Creations. I think this will be stunning. I originally got the idea from Kimber, and I'm really happy to finally be doing the thing. It's just taking a while because I haven't had a lot of just like waiting room time or just hanging out, mindless time to knit, I've been prioritizing other projects that I can't show you here, but I do have a couple patterns that we'll be releasing in December, and they will be releasing as part of Dying Wishing Yarn Co.'s sock set boxes inspired by vintage Winnie the Pooh. So if you got one of those boxes, you will have access to the pattern for the size of yarn in your box. And then if you have not gotten those boxes, the patterns will still be made available to you, but it'll be in black and white so that the colors aren't spoiled till the end of the countdown, where I will upload new versions and new pictures with all the beautiful colors showing. So I've been working a lot on those patterns actually, and knitting through my second socks while also coordinating with testers and things. And so that's also taken a lot of my like free time knitting space and mental brain power. So I'm excited to see what this next month or so holds, because I am really excited to get a lot of work done on my projects. And I have a lot of things I want to knit for Christmas this year. As for my new yarn goodies that I've gotten recently, a couple things that are more club related and some fun projects I'm excited to share with you. So first, this is Kettle and Hearth Fibers club yarn. Let's see, this colorway is Nightlights with Navy. It's in their BFL base. So 80% BFL, 20% nylon for the main skein, and the mini is 80% merino, 20% nylon. That's cute. I am doing the Garden Stroll Club, and so this was a little bit of a different color scheme. I'm excited to see what comes next month, and I also don't know, well, I guess it's this month now because we're in November and this was the October yarn. But I'm not sure how long the club is going on for, so I'll put down the link below if you're interested in checking it out. We've gotten a couple really stunning colorways from that club, and so I'm glad that I joined. This one's not in my wheelhouse, but I'm sure I can find someone to gift this yarn or gift a project made with this yarn to. So it'll still have a good home. Another club I've been doing, this is the Woolberry Fiber Co. Pride and Prejudice Club, and this is the final month. This colorway is called You Have Bewitched Me. And I don't think the mini has a name, but I've gotten all of the sock sets. I don't have a plan. There are 7 months, so that's kind of a weird number, but I was thinking maybe I'll do a blanket of some sort. I don't really know. I gotta see all the yarns together and see what inspires me. But ooh, I gotta watch Pride and Prejudice again. And it also came with these needle stoppers, cute sweater needle stoppers, because I subscribed to the whole club from the very beginning, so that was like a little gift for joining in on the club. Another club yarn, though this is for a maker who doesn't require you to commit every month. You can just commit to whatever month you want to commit to, and this is for Witchfire Fiber, and this is the colorway The Creator. Such an interesting like desaturated pastel. Definitely has some warm tones in it, like a rose, a really dusty like tan. Just an interesting kind of subtle colorway. I got it in the double sock base, an 80/20. It also came with this card, and this club is inspired by different tarot cards and their meanings. And I might be saying that incorrectly. And so it's been fun to intentionally purchase the yarns that I have a connection with. So that's kind of fun. The last yarn goodie that I want to share with you is from Coven Collective. And this is their collaboration with Knitty Natty for Sockmas this year. And they dyed the yarn, and they also create a project bag for it. And Knitty Natty wrote a pattern that uses this yarn and some beads actually that come in this package. I don't know if I want to use the beads. I'm thinking about it. But this is the Winter Magic sock set. It looks like Fractal and Deep Freeze is probably this one, is my guess. And then Spellbound Sock is this one. I don't know if that's right. But this is a 75/25 fine superwash merino wool and recycled nylon blend. I think that this color is so fun, and I'm just really excited to work on this pattern because I liked it too when I saw Knitty Natty working on it. It also came with this cute little stitch marker, so I do need to pencil this in for a Sockmas make, and I can't remember. I think Sockmas starts right after American Thanksgiving. I have to check though. And then the bag, they did their own like dyeing of the bag, but this is the bag that I got. Each one's a little bit unique because of the dye style. It's got some nice sturdy straps. It's also got this loop for like having on your wrist, which is perfect. That's how I like to carry around my knitting. It's also got this cute pocket. I don't know if you can see, but it's like, oh man, let me turn it inside out. Got these pockets on the inside that are kind of witchy for Coven Collective, and they have hooks and needles. Cute, cute, cute. I've never purchased from Coven Collective before, so this is really fun to be able to branch out and try a new to me indie dyer. I always really like that. I've got another yarn purchase actually that I forgot about, but I have it on my show notes in front of me. And this is actually a whole bunch of Swish DK in the bear yarn format, I guess. It's not a bear colorway because it literally is just bear yarn. So it's not white, it's more of like a yellowy cream, but it's a pretty light cream colored. And I tend to like working with bear yarn more than bright white because it's more of a yellow tone rather than like a blue tone in a bright white kind of a color. I have a whole bag of this. It didn't even come in hanks. So I have to be careful when I am prepping this yarn to use that I don't make it a big tangled mess. But this yarn is typically used for dyeing it in certain colors. That's why it comes in the format that it does, in the, what's the word I'm looking for? That's why it's put up in this way. But I'm actually going to be using it on a blanket, my Woolberry Fabrico Book Society box blanket. And if you haven't seen my vlogs, I'll make sure to list them up above and down below. But for every season, I have gotten the Woolberry Fabrico Book Society box, and in it there is a book, 4 full skeins of yarn, and some other goodies inspired by the book. And as you read the book, you open up the skeins of yarn, and I wanted to make a project that incorporated all 4 seasons of this book box, and also made sure that all of the colors within each box stayed together so I could see the color palette. And so I made granny squares using the Astrid blanket pattern by Mallory Krall, and I modified the pattern a little bit. You'll have to see my videos to learn more about that. But I made different squares for each of the different seasons, so in each of the different color palettes, and then I need to join them together, and I'm getting towards the end of this project. I would love to finish it by the end of this year. I plan to have a vlog for Vlogmas where I'm working on this project and hopefully finishing it, but I need something to join, and so I picked this bear yarn. I kind of extrapolated how much yarn I thought I would use. We'll see how it goes. I guess worst case scenario is I can get more bear yarn from Knit Picks or Crochet, but hopefully I have plenty. I think I got 1 extra skein beyond my estimates just in case to kind of cover my bases. But I'm really excited to get finished on this project because this has been like a year in the making almost at this point, and it's just been such a fun experience to be reading these books and opening these yarns. So even if I don't enjoy some of the books, I've still gotten lots of joy out of the experience, if that makes sense. And that tells me that it's just something really fun that I really connect with. So that project is coming. I have not really shown that here on the podcast because I'm just making random squares. But once I have the blanket, I will definitely show that as a finished object. And I'm really hoping it gets finished this year. The final yarn goodie I want to share with you is a book, and this is the Doodle Knit Directory by Jamie Lomax. I have really loved Jamie's patterns and all the different motifs and what you can make with them. I don't even know what this is. Is this a cozy of some sort or like teeny tiny mittens? I don't know, but there's teeny tiny socks for sure. Maybe they're little like baby mitts. I don't know. But in this book, there are motifs. There are basic patterns for different things you can make using those motifs, and you can mix and match and figure out exactly what you want to make. And I think it's just such a fun and modular way to make a pattern and to kind of customize how you want and like what vibe you're going for in your colors and your motifs in what item or items you make. And so I wanted to support Jamie for one thing and purchase her book. I also am really excited to look through here and figure out what I want to make from here because I have been collecting her patterns, honestly, and I've tested a couple of her doodle patterns for her. I have made a couple independently just on my own, and I have a lot of the doodle decks that she has come out with little cards that have the motifs on them. And so I'm entrenched in the doodle world and I wanted to keep going. Getting distracted by this book. I need to delve in and take a closer look. Life and chit chat, lots of highs and lots of lows. Honestly, I am filming this November 8th. Is that the date today? Yeah, I'm filming this November 8th, and it's been a tough week, but the fight is not over. There's always going to be more things that I can do, that we can do to ensure the world is a safe and loving place for everyone. That's all I'm gonna say about that. But please take care of yourself if this week is also hard for you. I mentioned previously that I was prepping a couple sock patterns, a fingering weight and a DK weight. That's taken up a lot of my time and mental energy. I'm still working through those patterns, but they will be available beginning of December for the countdown boxes by Dying Wishes Yarn Co. and just for general consumption. Is that the term? On Ravelry and on Etsy if you are interested. So they are still kind of a secret pattern, but they are coming. As far as the highs, October is my favorite month of the year, and it was busy. We had our anniversary, and so we traveled up to Heber Midway area, which is in the Wasatch Mountains of Utah. Not too far from us, but we did kind of like a pseudo staycation. We brought my daughter, so it wasn't like a just us type of anniversary trip, but it was a lot of fun actually. We stayed in this cute, teeny tiny farmhouse cottage Airbnb, and we just had a lot of fun exploring the area and enjoying some of the things that that area has to offer. It was a little bit cold because 'tis the season, and I feel like I would love to go back and enjoy some time maybe in the spring or early summer. I definitely see us going back to Heber and visiting again. It was just really fun to go to some local places to eat. We found this really cool donut shop that was really delicious, and also just some fun activities too. We did the Heber Valley Railroad. They had a cute little like kids friendly railroad that we did that was like the Pumpkin Express or something, and so we all got pumpkins at the end of it, and it was just like a fun experience. I had more fun than I thought I would, having to bring our daughter. She is 4 now, and she's getting to the age where it's just really fun to hang out with her and to bring her along and do things. Like, she's less of a burden because she's just like happy to be there and has a joy for life, and we can hold on conversations with her and also like be silly and make jokes, and I don't know, she's like becoming her own person, and it's just really fun. Like I mentioned, my daughter turned 4, and so we had her birthday party. We did a combo like family and some friends, and it was a bigger event than I had anticipated but I think my daughter had a lot of fun. And it was just a really good experience to like reach out to new friends, or, you know, kind of fledgling friends, to kind of hopefully build more of a relationship with them. We don't have a lot of friends here where we live, even though we've lived here about 2 years. We just haven't really found our people. And so trying to reach out to people within our sphere around us to try to build friendships. I'm trying. It's a process. So if you have any tips for making friends as an adult, or making friends for your kids as an adult, let me know, because it's a struggle. But I think it was a fun little party, and it got my daughter really excited for Halloween. She wanted a pumpkin themed birthday party, and so it was just really fun to have pumpkin flavored and pumpkin looking snacks and treats and things, and pumpkin themed games, and it was just fun to put together a little party like this. And it was fun to see my daughter with some little friends and to spend some time with our family that is living near us as well. So that's kind of what has been going on with us. Again, a busy month with my work and with like our family stuff, and then had on me working on those patterns. I just haven't had a lot of time for knitting, but that's okay. I think that I'm gonna get a lot more knitting and crocheting done over the next month or so before the end of the year. I am prepping for Vlogmas right now, and I've got some fun ideas that are like holiday, winter related. I've got some fun ideas that are book related, because I've been doing a lot of bookish content on my channel, and I've also got a lot of fun ideas for yarny content. So I'm gonna try to do a mix of that. But if there's anything that you want to see in my Vlogmas, make sure to let me know down below so that I can put out content that you are excited about seeing. Last year I did the 12 days of Vlogmas, so I had 12 videos, and that was definitely more manageable than doing a daily vlog, and also I could be more intentional with the content that I put out rather than just doing a day in the life vlog every single day, and some days are more boring than others, especially when I'm working as a nurse, and so some days all I do is go to work. That's not conducive for vlogging. So yeah, if you want to see any specific content from me, let me know down below. I'm also going to be trying hard not to do the same type of thing I did last year. So I filmed decorating our house for Christmas, but I'm not buying hardly any Christmas decorations this year. So our decorations are going to be really similar to our decorations last year, so I'm not doing a vlog on decorating for Christmas. Maybe I'll sneak it into a different vlog, but I'm not going to do a vlog just about decorating, if that makes sense. So that's underway, and I am planning and prepping for that. It's a little overwhelming. There's so much that I want to do, but let me know if there's anything in particular you want me to prioritize and make sure that I get a vlog out about for the month of December. So I already mentioned a couple projects that I'm hoping to work on for the rest of this month and into the month of December. Definitely really want to get my Christmas sweater done, and maybe I'll start another Christmas sweater, but not likely, knowing me. Just the one is good for a goal, I think. I also mentioned that I'm going to be working on my Astrid blanket and kind of joining everything up together. I am really, really excited. I do have quite a bit of work to do, so it should be a fun vlog to see me power through and try to finish off that blanket before the end of the year. I also mentioned in my recent project planning video that I was thinking about making a gift for my husband. I couldn't quite remember, but I went back and looked at my Rhinebeck vlog, and he had wanted mitts. Like fingerless mitts, I think. And so I picked out this green yarn for him because he loves green. This is Primrose Roan DK in the color Oasis. It's a really pretty color, but it is a American superwash merino and domestic non-superwash merino blend, 60/40. Locally spun in Pennsylvania, it looks like. But when I asked my husband about it, he was like, what, mitts? No. I was like, is there anything you'd want me to make from like a random skein of green yarn I bought for you? And he said, well, maybe a hat. So maybe I'll make a hat for him. Who knows? But he didn't seem too bent up about it. I have other plans in mind too, and I also need to fix the socks I've already made him that need some patching, so that will probably take precedence. But I may end up making a quick hat for him because he doesn't want any texture or cables or anything. He doesn't even want like a muscle burra or like a folded brim. He wants a really simple hat, so this could be a nice palette cleanser. Who knows? I also have some Christmas projects in mind, and right now, I can't actually remember what my parents asked for, but I feel like my mom asked for another pair of socks, and my dad asked for a scarf to go with his jacket. And I have those in my brain vaguely, but I honestly don't have any other details. So those may or may not happen. I should sit down and plan that because I have plenty of time right now to figure out what I'm doing for Christmas. I just need to figure out what I'm doing for Christmas gifts so I can make it happen before it is too late. I have been kind of bad about giving gifts for holidays. I am better at seeing something and knowing I want to give that to someone and then like giving it as like a random gift. But having a deadline is kind of hard for me when it comes to gift giving. So I'm gonna try to be really good this year about giving some intentional gifts made with love or given with love to all the people that matter in my life. I asked my family what they would like, and those are the responses I got, so let's see if I can make that happen in the month of December. I do have a vlog in mind where I'm going to be working on Christmas gifts. Stay tuned for that to see how I do. And then finally, I want to make Christmas Eve socks for my family. And so I've got some yarn from Witchfire Fibers for that. I've done this a couple times before, and I'm going to make the Lights on Main sock pattern by Kim Jackson of Huga Canyon. This yarn is Search for the Perfect Tree. So pretty. I got 2 skeins of this, and then for contrast for heels and cuffs and toes or whatever combination I want to do thereof, I got Verdant. So between these 3 skeins, I should be able to make a pair of shorties for my husband, a pair of regular socks for me, maybe like taller than ankle but not like super high mid-calf, and then a pair of socks for my 4-year-old. That should be good because last time we had just a sock set and it was not quite cutting it. So that is the plan. I do need to get started. I've got a lot of things to do. Oh, and I already talked about Vlogmas is coming up. I just need to get organized so I can make the most of the time I have for the rest of this year, especially between like the Thanksgiving holiday and we're going out of town to visit my family around Christmas. So I need to have my ducks in a row so that when we are traveling, I have everything accounted for and taken care of that I wanted to get done before I leave for New York. What are you making for gifts this holiday season? Have you started already? Have you finished already? Are you like way on top of things? Let me know, and let me know your tips and tricks for staying on top of your gifting for this holiday season, because I am to the point where I really need to get going on this. Thank you so much for joining me for this podcast episode and for just chatting with me down below. I love to hear from you and the things that you're working on. And if you've made any of these projects that I have mentioned today, or if you love any of these indie makers that I've talked about, I would love to hear from you. Thank you so much again for joining me here, and I hope to see you again on another video of mine. Until then, happy making. Bye!